So during this week, I was expecting it to be a little bit warmer, but I guess winter just does not want to leave us. But I suppose that's okay because it gives me some more time with some of my heavy hitter fragrances. So stay tuned to find out what fragrances I chose to wear throughout the week. Hey, what's going on guys? Hunter here and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, what I do is I make fragrance related content. So if you love fragrances, go to smash the subscribe button down below. But that's correct guys, I'm bringing you another weekly fragrance rotation. And I'm gonna try to keep these going every single week since you guys seem to really love them. And I love actually having to choose different fragrances and keeping track of compliments and stuff like that. So I do enjoy doing these. But if you aren't familiar with my weekly fragrance rotations, we pretty much go over what fragrance I chose to wear on that day, the temperature, if we got any compliments, and how many sprays I did. So as usual, let's start the week off on Sunday. All right, so on Sunday, it was a very cold, snowy day. I think it was in like the 30s, I believe. And I decided to pull out a fragrance that I just got in, and this was actually the first time actually getting a sort of a full wearing out of it, but I was pretty much at home most of the day. And the fragrance I decided to pull out was by Kilian's Angel Share. Now this happens to be the French Montana edition, which is just a limited edition bottle. It's the same exact juice inside, I'm 100% sure of that. So what you get with Angel Share, this is one of the most authentic boozy fragrances. This smells so luxurious. How I describe this, if you caught my first impression of it, is some oak barrels with cognac that's been sitting in there aging for years, and just putting your head inside the oak barrel and just getting a smell of all the aroma, the dry wood, the cognac seeped into the oak. This is just an incredible fragrance. And Kilian Hennessy, who is actually the perfumer behind this, this is his actually most personal fragrance creation to date. This is pretty much the Hennessy legacy in this bottle here. But I did actually get a compliment with this fragrance by my fiance. I did actually only go 3 sprays, so I did go very light just for relaxing at home, because this fragrance is very dense, very potent. Very, very strong fragrance. But she just said, wow, you smell absolutely great. Is that the new Angel Share? Because she saw that I did get it in. So yeah, she absolutely loved it. But that's what I chose to wear at home, and for the first time was Angel Share. All right, so heading into Monday is actually my first day at work for the week. And I actually put out another brand new fragrance in my collection. And I believe this was the first time getting a full wearing out of it. And the fragrance is Tom Ford's Black Orchid Eau de Toilette. Now, it's no surprise that I'm a huge fan of the Black Orchid DNA. I absolutely love it. The earthiness, also the chocolate accords. It's just a fantastic fragrance. And the original is a very potent fragrance. With the Eau de Toilette, it tones it down a little bit. It brings out more of the floral qualities, and it's much easier to wear than the EDP. It does lean a little bit more feminine, but I absolutely still love this stuff. This was so nice to wear on Monday. I did go 6 sprays of this, which is pretty much like a safe spot with the EDT. The EDP, like I said, just is a powerhouse of a fragrance. This stuff does project very, very well, but the longevity is a little bit less than the EDP. Now, I did not get any compliments from this fragrance, even though this is slightly more crowd pleasing than the EDP. But all in all, Black Orchid is not a DNA that just draws attention and just crowd pleasing at all. It's a very daring fragrance DNA. It was also very, very cold. I believe it was like in the 20s, even like low 10s. Extremely cold day. But yeah, that's what I decided to wear on Monday to work, is Black Orchid EDT. So on Tuesday, it was also a pretty cold day. I was at work most of the day as well. And I was in the mood for a oud-based fragrance, and I decided to pull out one that I haven't worn that much since it is fairly new. And the fragrance is Mancera's Oud Exclusif. And guys, just look at that juice color. That just is so dark. And that's exactly how this fragrance comes across. So with Oud Exclusif, what you pretty much get, you do get the agarwood in there, which is oud of course, but it also has like a booziness I'm getting from it. It's almost cherry-like, guys. It's a very, very strong fragrance. And honestly, it ruined the next fragrance coming up in this list because it pretty much carried on my jacket. Since it was so cold, I wasn't expecting to wear a jacket the next day, but I had to because of the weather. And man, this stuff just carried on for days. This is so strong of a fragrance. But I did actually go 6 sprays of this stuff, got no compliments at work, which doesn't surprise me. This isn't really a compliment getting fragrance, as most of these fragrances I put out for the week aren't really. But yeah, this was a joy on the day I wore it, but then it got kind of cloying and sickening on the next day on my clothes. So that's what I wore for Tuesday to work, is Oud Exclusif. Brand new fragrance in my collection, even though I have tested this fragrance from like a decant before, but this is the first time getting a full wearing out of it from the bottle. And the fragrance I chose to wear for work on Wednesday is Roja Parfums Danger Parfum Cologne. Whoa, now this is a very unique take on a fougere barbershop style fragrance, because in this, of course, you get a heavy dose of lavender, you get some oak moss in there as well, but it has a nice spiciness to it from the cumin. Now, cumin is a note that is either I love it or I hate it. A lot of people love that note. A lot of people also despise that note because it can kind of come across like BO smelling, which obviously isn't that pleasant. But with Danger, it kind of changed my mind on the note of cumin, because it's obviously perfumed by a master perfumer, Roja Dove himself. As you see, a fragrance by Roja Dove right there. And man, the way he blended this stuff together made the cumin just work in this fragrance. But yeah, this stuff is extremely high quality. It smells so expensive. Is it my favorite Roja fragrance? Definitely not, but I am starting to grow on this one quite a bit, guys. But on Wednesday, I did go another 6 sprays. I pretty much kept it around like 6 sprays for most of the fragrance during the week. That is kind of my go-to. I usually change it up quite a bit, but lately, when I'm testing fragrance and stuff, I've been doing 6 sprays to get a full wearing out of it. It was also another cold day. At least in the morning, it was very, very cold. I think it was like 30 degrees and raining, almost like kind of like slush, snowing and stuff. But what I'm kind of sad is I wanted to actually appreciate this fragrance and get kind of intimate with it and get a full wearing out of it and see how it wears on my skin during the day and how long it lasted and stuff. Like I was talking about Mancera and Oud Exclusif, I had to wear the same jacket because it was cold outside. And this stuff, man, this was all over my jacket, around my neck and stuff like that. So during the whole day when I was wearing that jacket, I was smelling Oud Exclusif and I was smelling Danger. It was kind of like mixed together. And guys, to be honest with you, I am not a fan of layering fragrances at all. I just think it takes away from the work of the perfumer that made either obviously Danger or Oud Exclusif. Because when a perfumer puts together a fragrance, it's done. It's his work of art and that's how it should be worn, not layered with another fragrance, guys. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people love layering, but for me, definitely not, especially with a fragrance like Danger by Roja Dove. Absolutely do not layer this one. This deserves to be worn by itself, but it was kind of like a Danger with a little bit of oud in it. And it was kind of swaying me off because that stuff just became so cloying, almost sickening from the day prior. I did enjoy wearing it for a few hours, but at the end of the day, it was a little bit too sticky, almost a little bit sweet. Kind of comes across a little bit boozy, cherry-like in that fragrance. And then Danger, guys, this is a work of art in and of itself when it comes to barbershop fragrances. Absolutely love this one. Like I said, definitely not my favorite. I did not get any compliments from Danger. I can definitely see like more older women loving this fragrance because it does lean a little bit more mature, a little bit more gentlemanly, more suited for maybe dressing up and stuff. This did make it on my top 10 sexiest fragrance list because I think it is a sexy fragrance, just not for the younger crowd, but more of the older guys and stuff like that. This is definitely a sexy fragrance that women will absolutely love because of the cumin, the spiciness to it, and just the way it's blended together. But that's what I decided to wear on Wednesday. All right, so heading into the Thursday, I'm pretty much at work all day again, as usual, but I did pull out a newer fragrance in my collection. Might have been the first time wearing this one as well. And the fragrance is Banana Republic's Black Walnut Legend. Now, I do have a funny story with this one when it comes to a compliment with it, but on that day, it was a little bit warmer. That's why I decided to pull this fragrance out. I did go a little bit heavier with this one, around 10 sprays, because from what I heard, it was somewhat weak. You do need to overspray this one, things like that. If you guys don't know, this does smell similar to aventus. It's dubbed kind of like a aventus clone or interpretation or inspired by, whatever you want to call it. It is kind of similar to aventus. Now, like I said, 10 sprays of this stuff. It was almost like 70 degrees out. And how I would describe this is it's like a fruity batch of aventus, much more fresh, much fruitier. There's no smokiness to this fragrance, nothing like that. No earthy tones like aventus has. But wow, now in the air, this smells so similar to aventus, guys. And to be honest with you, sometimes when I put on fragrances, I have over 200 bottles, and I get people ask me, oh, what do you got on? A lot of times I forget what I have on. Sometimes I'll be like, hold on, Actually, I don't even remember what I have on, or I got to think for a minute and be like, oh yeah, it's this. Now, when I got a compliment on this, I was smelling this throughout the whole day. This was projecting very, very well. And in my head, it was aventus. For some reason, I thought I was wearing aventus, guys. I don't know if I just wasn't in the right mindset. I was busy all day, kind of stressed out with work and stuff like that. So I had a compliment. This woman came over to me. She's like, wow, you smell great. What cologne you got on? And I told her Creed Aventus. She's like, whoa, that sounds expensive. So I told her, like, obviously how much it costs and stuff like that. She said, wow, but yeah, that smells good. And then later on, I was like, wait a minute, I don't have Aventus on. I'm actually wearing Banana Republic's Black Walnut Legend. So I thought that was hilarious. That's how similar this smells to Aventus, guys. This is one of the best clones of Aventus. Definitely surpassing like Mount Blanc Explorer. Right up there with Club de Nuit Intense Man. But that one is more smoky, more birchy, stuff like that. This is just more fruity and stuff. But man, this stuff is good. And the projection on this is phenomenal. And the longevity, because when she complimented me, that was about 6 hours after application of this stuff. So it was still pushing off pretty well. So yeah, that's what I chose to wear on Thursday to work, is Black Walnut Legend. All right, so on Friday is my off day. So what I usually do on that day is actually run errands, since everything's still pretty much open. Try to get things done and stuff like that before the weekend, of course. Now, on Friday, it was a cold, snowy day, and the fragrance I put out is also a brand new fragrance in my collection, and the first time getting a full wearing out of it to actually test it out and stuff. Even though I have had a decant of this stuff, but from the bottle itself, yeah. First time wearing it, and it was Roja Parfums Scandal Parfum Cologne. Man, just look at that beautiful purple gradient bottle. This bottle looks fantastic. Just like all Roja Parfums, man. I love the house of Roja. Now, with Scandal, unlike Danger, this is a barbershop fougere fragrance I absolutely love, man. This is one of my favorite Rojas in my entire collection and that I've smelled. This is phenomenal. So with Scandal, in the opening, you do have a ton of lavender, like a huge lavender burst, which I love lavender, of course, and fougeres and stuff like that. You do, of course, have oak moss, so it is a little bit mossy, almost chypre-like. But you have a nice mintiness to the opening, which definitely moderns it up and changes it a lot. It makes it a little bit more unique. You do get a ton of mint in here. But my favorite part, even though that opening is phenomenal, I think I love the dry down a little bit more. And that's not usual for me, guys. But when it comes to Roja Parfums fragrances, they're some of the most complex fragrances money can buy. I'm telling you guys, especially with like Elysium, which is a very fruity, very fresh citrus fragrance. That thing changes so much, and that's unusual with a fresh citrus based fragrance. But nothing's different with Scandal, guys. This stuff changes from the top, middle, and the base notes. In the base notes of this, you do have a nice salty ambergris, which is almost a little bit animalic, which a lot of people don't like. Man, I love the dry down. I think it's so well done, and I love ambergris, and I believe there is natural ambergris in this fragrance. But I did go 6 sprays on Friday to run errands. I had to go get some car stuff done, stuff like that. So I was running around, running errands and things. I did not get any comments from this fragrance, even though it was pushing off my skin very, very well. But I wasn't around that many people and stuff like that. I do see people actually liking this fragrance. It's not like kind of a daring fragrance. Like I said, it is a fougere barbershop minty fragrance. Even though the dry down, it does get a little bit funky from the ambergris and a little bit salty, but all in all, this is a phenomenal fragrance and I absolutely love it. One of my favorite roses, like I said. And I'm actually thinking about, since I own all of the Roja Parfum cologne fragrances, all 5 of them, I'm thinking about doing like a rank of all 5 from like my least favorite, even though I pretty much love them all the way to like my favorite one. Everyone has to have a favorite when it comes to fragrances. Even though you love them all, there's always one favorite. But that's what I wore on Friday, is Scandal. All right, so wrapping the week off on Saturday, it was another kind of a cold, kind of a warmer day a little bit. And the fragrance I actually pulled out was Orchid Jane's Montabaco Verano. Now, I think Montabaco Verano is perfect for this kind of weather, when it's almost like transitioning to spring. It is a good spring fragrance because you have a nice juicy grapefruit in the opening, but you also have a ton of leather in here, which is almost like a suede kind of leather I'm picking up in this fragrance, but so well done. It is like a very unique take on a blue fragrance. It's hard to find a blue fragrance with a heavy dose of leather, kind of like a suede furry leather in here. And man, Orchid Jane absolutely knocked it out of the park with this blend. on that day, I was pretty much at home all day long. I didn't really do much. It was kind of crappy out, like in the 50s. And I did go 3 sprays of Montabaco Verano just to pretty much have a little bit of a scent bubble around me, just so I can appreciate it at home. I'm always wearing fragrances at home, always testing fragrances, always have fragrances on when I'm going to sleep usually and stuff like that. And yeah, I love Montabaco Verano, and I'm so excited to actually get more wearings out of this fragrance once it does warm up a little bit more, because it is more suited to the warmer climate, even though it does work perfect with that base of a suede leather. So yeah, that's what I wore to wrap up off on the weekly fragrance rotations, Montabaco Verano. So I hope you guys did enjoy this weekly fragrance rotation. Let me know down below, per usual, what fragrances you guys chose to wear throughout the week. I love hearing it. But as always, leave the like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I'll catch all you guys in the next fragrance video. So take care, everybody.